Whoa,
That's awesome.
I just
That's
went delete.
awesome.
All right, AJ, I'll
So
let you take it over.
I think Danny, we need to get Danny to put on the videos now, and so we can actually start getting into the explanation of what a cooperative is, because most of the members have no idea how the ownership works, etc. And that is, obviously our most valuable feature, and especially for the drivers to know the difference between a full shareholder and a penny shareholder, and more important than that, that what rights do the penny shareholder have versus what rights the full shareholder have.
So this is an explanation video, if I'm not mistaken, AJ, on just kind of like what a cooperative is, right? Just the
Yes,
basic concept.
yes,
Okay, perfect.
absolutely.
All right, here we go. Danny, go ahead.
A cooperative is a type of business that is owned by and operated for the benefit of the people at the heart of the organization. Cooperatives are structured around 7 principles deeply rooted in democracy, economic participation, and sustainable growth of both the business and the community. How are cooperatives different? The cooperative business model is an alternative to conventional business. Cooperatives foster democratic values and practices coupled with long-term thinking. On the outside, cooperatives look like any other business, but inside, they are very different. They are owned and controlled by the people closest to the business, not outside shareholders. The owners of a cooperative can be the customers, a group of store owners, residents, farmers, or employees of the organization. In fact, there are many different sectors of cooperative businesses: utility co-ops, credit unions and banking co-ops, insurance co-ops and mutuals, producer co-ops like farmer co-ops, housing co-ops and resident-owned communities, social co-ops operating in childcare, education, transportation, and many other applications, purchasing co-ops, food co-op grocery stores, customer-owned co-ops, and worker-owned co-ops. Cooperatives have been successfully utilized across many industries, countries, and continents. They are proven to strengthen local and regional communities, sustain economies, and elevate the quality of life. Learn more about cooperatives and how they operate in your community, nation, and across the world. Join us in building a better world.
So here is the Spanish version.
¿Qué es una cooperativa? Una cooperativa es una asociación autónoma de personas unidas voluntariamente para satisfacer sus necesidades y aspiraciones económicas, sociales y culturales a través de una empresa de propiedad conjunta y democráticamente controlada, en donde la administración y la gestión debe llevarse a cabo en la forma que acuerden los socios. Los principios cooperativos constituyen las reglas básicas de funcionamiento de estas organizaciones. La Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, ACI, es la organización que desde el año 1895 aglutina y promueve el movimiento cooperativo en el mundo. La cooperativa constituye la forma más difundida de entidad de economía social. Los principios actuales fueron aprobados en la Asamblea de la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional en Manchester el 23 de septiembre de 1995. Asociación voluntaria y abierta. Las cooperativas son organizaciones voluntarias y abiertas para todas aquellas personas dispuestas a utilizar sus servicios y aceptar las responsabilidades que conlleva la condición de socios, sin discriminación de género, raza, clase social, orientación sexual, posición política o religiosa. 2. Control democrático por los asociados. Las cooperativas son organizaciones democráticamente administradas por sus socios, quienes participan activamente en la fijación de políticas y toma de decisiones. Los asociados tienen iguales derechos de voto. Un asociado, un voto. 3. Participación económica de los socios. Los asociados contribuyen equitativamente a la formación del capital de su cooperativa y lo administran democráticamente. 4. Autonomía e independencia. Las cooperativas son organizaciones autónomas de autoayuda, administradas por sus socios que pueden asociarse con otras organizaciones sin hacerse dependiente y sin responder a intereses externos. 5. Educación, capacitación e información. Las cooperativas brindan educación y capacitación a socios, dirigentes, gerentes y empleados de manera que puedan contribuir efectivamente al desarrollo de ellas. Informan al público en general acerca de la naturaleza y los beneficios de la cooperación. 6. Cooperación entre cooperativas. Las cooperativas sirven más eficientemente a sus socios y fortalecen al movimiento cooperativo trabajando mancomunadamente a través de estructuras locales, regionales y nacionales. 7. Compromiso con la comunidad. A la vez que atienden las necesidades de sus asociados, las cooperativas trabajan en pro del desarrollo sustentable de sus comunidades mediante políticas aprobadas por ellos. Con todo esto, es importante reafirmar que debido a que la incorporación de una cooperativa es un compromiso voluntario que asumen sus integrantes, la cooperativa en sí tiene la especial responsabilidad de asegurar que sus socios tengan acceso a la educación cooperativa y se acerquen cada vez más a esta tan apasionante filosofía de vida.
So this is the NCBA CLUSA. This is the National Federation of Cooperative Businesses in America. It is the largest group representing over 65. Anyways, just to open it up, Danny, as you can see here, I'm the only Canadian to be a part of this group, which was a great honor. When it was announced a few years back, while the whole antitrust stuff was going on in Washington with regards to how Amazon and Walmart and companies like Google and Apple took advantage of the poor consumers and businesses that were selling on their different exchanges, and how they would actually, basically steal their businesses, at the end of the day. We did sign a very amazing deal. I don't know if it's easy for you to pull it up. Can you pull up the article on Peru where they made us the So this is, if you just want to scroll up, NCBA CLUSA and Direct Global, Direct Co-op. So this is our main business, Direct Global, and this is where we signed a deal with them to be basically their e-commerce partner. And this is what led us to creating FAIR. It's a whole story which we'll explain to you in a whole other video that we can share with you all. But Danny, for now, can you just just kind of scan through the article quickly and then go to click at the top where it says NCBA and look at my quote here. This is the biggest, most powerful group in America. They are the sleeping giant. Once we get to a certain level, so imagine on the buying group side, we've already achieved that level of respect. That's why we're here, and that's why we got their endorsements. But what we found was that in the buying group, which we'll show you, we might as well share that video with you guys too. We're going to be on here together for a little bit, but this is the way that we are going to help not just every driver, but every small business owner in America and in the world, really, against the odds that everybody's facing right now. And really, it all comes down to everybody coming together. And when you look at this group called the NCBA, they represent over 120 million Americans. So once we have that endorsement, as we got it on the purchasing side, to get it now on the delivery and passenger side, the marketing we're going to be getting from that alone is going to be mind-boggling. But just like what we had to do with the buying group, we had to do two things. We had to, one, do a very successful pilot in Peru that we had ran. And the other thing that we had to do is we had to demonstrate us being able to deliver product to over 40,000 businesses in Canada and the US. And that's how we were able to achieve that acclamation and that support, which again led us to developing FAIR. Danny, can you click NCBA itself? Just so they can get an idea on how big the group is. Can you scroll down?
And AJ, how many out of every Americans, how many are?
You're about to see it with your own eyes.
I think there it goes. There it is.
Right here. So as you can see, 1 in 3 Americans are members of cooperative, and this is the Apex group that manages all 65,000 cooperatives in America. So if and when we are ready, and we've proven ourselves. This is why it's so important to understand the value of what we are doing and how we are doing it. There are cooperatives out there worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. In fact, Danny, just scroll down a little bit to show them how long this group has been around. They've been around for over 100 years. Okay. Now, Danny, if you don't mind, show the quick video about Land O'Lakes. This is a very successful cooperative that has been around for probably, I don't know, 40 or 50 years, something like that. But today they are just 1,000 farmers, all right? And their valuation is over $17 billion, just to give you an idea. So imagine being one of those 1,000 farmers.
And this is a co-op. They're a co-op.
This is a perfect example.
Welcome to Land O'Lakes. When you join our team, you're joining a $19 billion Fortune 250 agribusiness operating in all 50 U.S. states and more than 60 locations around the world. You're part of something great. What makes us truly special? We're a cooperative. That means we're owned by our members, thousands of farmers and ag retailers located across the U.S., who are the wellspring of our abundant food supply, creating a better world for us all. As a cooperative, we offer you a workplace full of relentless cooperation in everything we do. We're famous for our butter, for good reason. But we're more than that. We are known for an array of products, services, and innovations throughout the food system. We're passionate about actively shaping food and agriculture for the better. Our broad reach gives us a unique perspective and responsibility to realize agriculture's true potential. There's pride in enabling food to go from farmers' fields to people's homes. Let's go on that journey together. Our largest business unit, Crop Inputs, home to Winfield United, provides seeds, tools, and technology that touches half of all harvested acres across the U.S. Next up, Animal Nutrition. This business unit is responsible for nourishing everything from cattle and horses to backyard chickens and zoo animals. You may know some of our brands, including Purina, Missouri, and NutriBlend. The backbone of our dairy foods business unit is our own members' dairy herds, located in the Northeast, the Upper Midwest, and the California Valley. That member-produced milk flows into our dairy foods business by way of dozens of processing and manufacturing facilities, becoming the iconic butter, cheese, and other dairy products you know and love, including from our Vermont Creamery and Cozy Shack brands. All the while, we continue to develop new sustainability solutions through our Truterra business unit. Farmers using the Truterra sustainability tool have successfully sequestered hundreds of thousands of metric tons of carbon since its launch, aiming to create a better environment for us all. That's the kind of innovation you'll find going on every day in our research facilities across the country and in our Twin Cities corporate headquarters, where data analysts, food scientists, supply chain strategists, and more are helping us write the next chapter in our century-long story. Our headquarters campus is also home to Land O'Lakes Venture 37, a global development nonprofit driving food security and helping people thrive through agriculture. And the Land O'Lakes Foundation, which is improving the vitality of our employee and member communities through giving, product donations, and volunteering. At Land O'Lakes, we're one team connected by the same goals, building sustainable futures, ensuring a plentiful food supply, and supporting vibrant rural communities. Now it's your turn to play a part in our journey. Welcome to Land O'Lakes.
Just imagine that being like a co-op video in the future, right? Of what we can do with, with Fair Co-op. I mean, it's amazing to think about the possibilities of when, the co-ops, get to
And
that
imagine that is in fact a pure cooperative. What we're doing is something a little bit more sophisticated. It took us many years working with the right people to uncover the most ultimate model. And this is where we ensure that the drivers have the majority, but we also have the benefits of the corporate world. And this is where, if we come together and if we work together and if we actually make this commitment to one another and actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk, there's so much that we can achieve. Imagine just those few thousand farmers created a $17 billion empire. Their children, their children's children, their children's children's children don't have to worry about anything.
Wow.
And imagine in ride hailing globally, you guys are part of a federation that you guys are owning half of more than half, 50% of that federation. So imagine the value of it. You know what, Danny? I'm going to ask you to play the About Us video, just the first half of it, to explain what our model is very quickly so that everybody understands why we started one day where the share was just $100. When we didn't have a license, we just had an idea. We built the software, we did this and that. That was all the stuff that was invested by the corporation. But then we had to start looking at everything piece by piece and saying, okay, now in California, we don't have the license yet. We want to get the license. We're going to start right now with a value of $100. And with that $100, God willing, one day we're going to have enough money to put up for our insurance and put up for our license. And the day that we were able to go and actually fund those important requirements that we needed to come up with, what ended up happening? We ended up boosting the value of that share from $100 to $150. As soon as we were approved by the government and got that license in record time. By the way, this is another very important thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. On average, it takes 6 to 10 months for anybody to go get a license, and a TNC license from the government of California. We got it in 3 weeks, and we would have gotten it in 2 weeks hadn't the insurance company made a mistake. So just imagine we got that license in record time, and that is because we're doing something good. These people in the government understood they made a big mistake by allowing the Waymos of the world and all that to come out without having another solution for the drivers themselves. And when they saw our business model, they said, hey, wait a minute. We need to support these guys. We need to push these guys through as quick as possible. And the day we got that license is the day, actually, oddly enough, the day that Elon Musk made the announcement for the robo-taxi. And you could go check on the day that he made the announcement for the robo-taxi and check the day that we got the license on the what's it called, on the government website, which means what? Which means we have support, but we have to give service. You know, people like, I mean, you were saying earlier, even Ivan and some of the other leaders were saying, you know, some people are, unhappy about not getting enough rides. I'm like, guys, we're getting canceled rides every day. And the problem is, by getting these canceled rides, we're sending a negative message to the consumers. We're saying we're not ready yet. We're not. And the problem is we have enough drivers. We just need to start getting out there and capitalizing on the situation itself. Now, Danny, if you don't mind, can you play that video quickly? Not the whole thing. I just want the first half of it, just so they understand the model that we're using and how important it is and why the value of it is even going to be bigger than the Land O'Lakes and everyone else, and how we're going to afford, hopefully, God willing, to finance these driverless vehicles on the value of the equity that we all have.
Make sure you unmute yourself, Danny.
Welcome to Fair Co-op, Buy Local Driver Co-op and the Direct Initiative. Drivers are underpaid and lack security in their jobs with no voice and no benefits. Facing an uncertain future with the rise of autonomous vehicles that are already on the road. Meanwhile, consumers are overpaying for rideshare and delivery services, and businesses are getting ripped off with high service charges imposed by food delivery companies. Devised by some of our expert co-founders, founder and CEO of Direct Global, Direct Co-ops, and the Direct Initiative, former president and CEO of the Toronto Stock Exchange, chair of the American Chamber of Commerce, the head of technology at Coca-Cola, the founder of #DriversUnite, and the Alliance for Independent Workers, former CTO of Dell Technologies, former president, CEO of the Toronto Economic Development Corporation, head of social media for the United Nations Social Development Goals, North America, and many others. Our approach combines the strengths of corporate and cooperative models, inspired by the successful structure of Visa's Federated Multi-Stakeholder Cooperative Model, devised by D. Hock in 1968, ensuring the voices of all stakeholders, big and small, were perfectly aligned with all participants of the Federation. This led to the largest IPO in U.S. history at the height of the economic crash of 2008. In our master plan, 80% is a cooperative owned by our driver partners and expert co-founders, and the remaining 20% is owned by a corporate entity which manages the technology. This model will not only secure the drivers today, but also for the future. As we're successful in launching in 5 major cities, undercutting Uber and Lyft rates by at least 20%, while paying our drivers 90% of the fares, putting more money in their pockets that they need today. The alternative solution, the new model. The world's first hybrid, cooperative, corporate business model too. Resolve labor issues, concerns, and problems through the co-op model. Provide drivers with ownership and a voice. 50% decision-making power to driver partners, 50% to expert co-owners, and corporate investors. Local driver tech receives 50% of net earnings, with the federation receiving the other 50%. The cooperation will be responsible for managing the tech platform and customer service. The federation will be responsible for all other operational aspects, including lobbying, marketing, onboarding, advocacy, etc. Due to the corporate aspect of our cooperative, we are able to attract the skill sets we need to face Uber head-on and on an equal footing. Competition and competitive advantage. Our competitors are Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, Grubhub, Instacart. Our competitive advantage. On average, 20% cheaper to consumers with the highest quality of service due to the cooperative ownership model. Drivers earning at least 40% more. Businesses charge only 5% as opposed to 20 to 35% with other apps. No significant R&D expenses for new technology. The product, Fares Platform Advantage. Development completed on version 1 of both ride-hailing and delivery platforms. Original name is Direct Local Eats, which will be rebranded to Fare and Fare Eats for the US and Canada launches. Our technologies already have 90% of the functions seen on other platforms, with additional unique and new features such as pickup from several businesses in a single order to be added, leveraging our unique position and hybrid model to scale new business. We'll then expand our platform globally, at which point we plan to take our tech company public, driving up the value of everyone's equity, which will allow us to help finance driverless vehicles for our drivers. Bienvenido a Fare Co-op, Buy Local Driver Co-op y la iniciativa directa. Los conductores son mal pagados y no tienen seguridad en sus trabajos, sin voz ni beneficios. Enfrentan un futuro incierto con el aumento de vehículos autónomos en las calles. Mientras tanto, los consumidores pagan de más por los servicios de transporte y entrega, y las empresas son estafadas con altas tarifas de servicio de las compañías de entrega. Creado por algunos de nuestros cofundadores expertos, el fundador y CEO de Direct Global, Direct Co-ops y la iniciativa directa, expresidente y CEO de la Bolsa de Valores de Toronto, el presidente de la Cámara de Comercio Americana, el jefe de tecnología de Coca-Cola, el fundador de #Drivers Unite y la Alianza de Trabajadores Independientes son parte de esto. El ex CTO de Dell Technologies y el expresidente y CEO de la Corporación de Desarrollo Económico de Toronto son parte de este equipo. El responsable de redes sociales para los Objetivos de Desarrollo Social de la ONU en América del Norte y otros muchos. Nuestra forma de trabajar combina lo mejor de los modelos corporativos y cooperativos, inspirados en el exitoso modelo cooperativo de Visa. Este modelo fue diseñado por Dee Hock en el año correspondiente, asegurando que las voces de todos los interesados, grandes y pequeños, estuvieran perfectamente alineadas con todos los participantes de la federación. Esto llevó a la mayor oferta pública inicial en la historia de EE.U. en el apogeo de la crisis económica del año. En nuestro plan principal, el 80% es una cooperativa que pertenece a nuestros socios conductores y cofundadores expertos, mientras que el 20% restante pertenece a una entidad corporativa que maneja la tecnología. Este modelo no solo asegurará a los conductores hoy, sino también en el futuro. A medida que tengamos éxito en nuestra expansión a 5 grandes ciudades, bajando las tarifas de Uber y Lyft en al menos un 20%, mientras que pagamos a nuestros conductores el 90% de las tarifas, colocando más dinero en sus bolsillos, ¿qué es lo que necesitan hoy? El nuevo modelo alternativo. También es el primer modelo de negocio híbrido cooperativo en el mundo. Abordar problemas laborales y preocupaciones mediante el modelo cooperativo. Brindar a los conductores propiedad y voz. El 50% del poder de decisión es para los socios conductores y el otro 50% para copropietarios expertos e inversores corporativos. Los conductores locales reciben el 50% de las ganancias netas, mientras que la federación se queda con el otro 50%. La cooperación gestionará la plataforma y el servicio al cliente. La federación se encargará de todos los aspectos operativos, como el cabildeo, el marketing, la incorporación y la defensa, entre otros. Gracias a la naturaleza corporativa de nuestra cooperativa, podemos atraer las habilidades que necesitamos para competir con Uber en igualdad de condiciones. Competencia y ventaja. Nuestros competidores son Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, Grubhub e Instacart. Nuestra ventaja competitiva es que, en promedio, ofrecemos un 20% menos a los consumidores, manteniendo la más alta calidad de servicio gracias a nuestro modelo cooperativo. Los conductores obtienen un 40% más. Las empresas solo cobran un 5%, mientras que otras aplicaciones cobran entre 20 y 35%. No hay gastos significativos en I+D para nueva tecnología. Producto. Ventaja de tarifas. Se completó el desarrollo de la versión 1 de las plataformas de transporte y entrega. El nombre original es Direct Local Eats, que será renombrado como FAR y Fair Eats para los lanzamientos en EU y Canadá. Nuestras tecnologías ya tienen el 90% de las funciones vistas en otras plataformas, con características únicas y nuevas como la recogida de varios negocios en un solo pedido que se añadirán. Aprovechando nuestra posición única en el modelo híbrido para escalar nuevos negocios. Después, expandiremos nuestra plataforma globalmente y planeamos hacer pública nuestra empresa tecnológica, aumentando el valor del capital de todos, lo que nos permitirá ayudar a financiar vehículos autónomos para nuestros conductores.
So very important to sort of go through that for a number of reasons. So number one, for everybody to understand the value of the share. For number two, for you guys to understand the structure. So the way the structure is right now, just so we're very, very clear, this is not a traditional cooperative. This is what we call a multi-stakeholder federated cooperative, where we have three classes of shareholders. We have one, which is 50% of the group, which is the drivers. So at all times, 50% of the voice is with the drivers. Then the next group we have above that is called the expert co-founders. Now, of the expert co-founders, which represent 30% of the federation itself, where we were able to get some amazing people from the former head of the stock exchange, the ex-head of technology at Dell Technologies, etc. We built an amazing team ready to basically, look at whatever problem that we have and have really the best minds to really solve those problems. Now, also, we brought in huge people that are part of the driver world. So something that we didn't have a chance to mention yet, but I will mention, of all the different groups in the US right now, in California, in the cities that we are currently working with, okay? I was so impressed with the guys at San Diego Drivers United that I actually invited them to join the co-founder team because of what they have done in organizing and putting together the team that they have. And they are not the only drivers that are there. We have about 7 or 8 drivers that are part of that expert group, whether it's the guy that started #Drivers Unite, whether it's the rideshare professor, whether it's Ivan, our CEO, and so on. We have, and because of that, it is a driver majority owned how can I say this, cooperative. So you guys are 50%, but then you have even your leadership, which I, of all the different leaderships that I've worked with and had the privilege of working with in California so far, I was so impressed with what they did with SDU and being organizers. I asked them to join and to become actual members of the co-founder side. So not only that there's an extra voice there, but I want them to teach all the other groups in California and around America how to organize the same way that they were able to organize. Honestly, at this moment, if you don't mind, if I could get Lee or any of the guys from California, from San Diego, to talk about this. It's very important, and also to explain that part in Spanish, because it's very important for everybody to know that this is actually yours in writing. Your voice is heard.
Yes, sorry, I stepped out of the car for a minute. Yes, actually, you want me to translate?
Translate and also tell about, I mean, the fact that I did invite you guys to be part of the co-founder and you signed it off.
Yes, okay. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Vamos a traducir lo que AJ nos está comentando. Él está hablando de la estructura de porcentajes de decisiones en las que estamos participando, donde AJ y nosotros nos invitó a ser parte de los fundadores para tener más voz y decisión sobre sobre las cosas que suceden en lo que es el mercado. Y estamos muy honrados de ser parte de esa grupo de fundadores en donde nosotros participamos diariamente en las decisiones de que se toman en lo que es el mercado, donde ponemos los precios, donde ponemos las decisiones, las decisiones. Disculpen, me salí un poquito de concentración. AJ, nos habla de cómo organizamos San Diego y que está muy impresionado de las cosas y eso nos halaga mucho de cómo logramos hacer cosas y cómo organizamos San Diego y que podemos ser parte de cómo organizamos el resto de California y el resto de la nación, donde podemos ir haciendo la misma estructura en cada lugar donde lleguemos y podamos lograr los mismos resultados para que puedan beneficiarse todas las ciudades y todos los estados de la misma manera, donde podamos lograr las mismas metas y donde podamos tener el mismo apoyo. Mediante ese tipo de estructura podemos lograr muchas cosas muy positivas y está reconociendo AJ un trabajo conjunto de todos los choferes aquí en San Diego que hemos llevado juntos para que logremos lo que hemos logrado. Thank you, AJ, for mentioning this. This is very important to us also. Gracias a todos ustedes hemos logrado resultados muy impresionantes que benefician a toda la compañía. Entonces, bueno, pues no sé, ahora sí que me trabé un poquito porque pues no esperaba que nos mencionara de esa manera. Nos ofreció ser parte de los cofundadores de la compañía donde podemos tener más decisión y donde podemos participar más de lo que se logra. Entonces eso es una parte muy importante para todos nosotros porque como choferes tenemos más voz y más voto, aparte del equipo de choferes como Ivan, como mencionó varios nombres que están en el video que son choferes y que ellos conocen el mercado de choferes. No son únicamente directivos financieros que nada más se enfocan en el lado financiero, sino también está hablando del lado humano, del lado del chofer, que es muy importante para nosotros. Y que nosotros por medio de este sistema vamos a tratar de implementarlo en todos lados. Basically, that's what you were mentioning, AJ.
No, thank you very much. I mean, look, it's a very important thing that everyone also knows that we recognize the beautiful effort that you guys done as pure and true leaders, and why we invited you guys to be actually co-founders on the Federation side as well, because we felt how important it was for your voices to be heard on all levels, and also for your example to be shared with all different areas in America that are trying, and around the world that are trying to organize themselves right now. So I don't want to spend too much more time on this. Again, I want to get into the questions and answers so everybody can get more involved. I'm sure there's lots of questions, but we wanted to give as much information as we possibly can. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, we started at a certain share value. Now we're at a $500 share value as we started getting into more and more cities. And now with this next thing that's going to happen over the next few weeks, the shares are going to jump again. And for us, it's not about us asking for more money. That's not what it's about. It's about us honoring the value of the shares of everybody that has been there from the very beginning, building this from the bottom up. So it's very, very important that anybody who does understand, you know, the value of what we're doing and understands how this could be a value for themselves and for their future and for their children and for everything that's going to be in front of them. I think it's important to really look at the different facilities that we've made available for people to get involved at very inexpensively. But at the same time, if you cannot afford it, we are still happy to bring you on and have you part of the team. And hopefully, you'll make 10, 9, 11 rides with us in the future and make enough money to go ahead and actually purchase that share before it gets, out of whack. We will always have, facilities there to make it easy for the drivers to join. We are a driver-owned a majority-owned cooperative. Our intention is to empower drivers, not to make life more difficult for them. But we also have to honor all the drivers that have been there from the very beginning, that have built this, bit by bit to get it to where it's at right now. Anyways, having said that, Ivan, if you have a few words, please go ahead. And then I think we should get into the questions and answers, really to wrap this up, because we really need everybody to understand the share value, the importance of getting on the app right away, making sure you're online, all of that fun stuff. And then I do want to have some words from some of our other people that are online here, like Melik, who's been doing a huge job for us out in the Bay Area, to share some words and some insights, but we'll do that towards the end. Go ahead, Ivan.
Sure. Just a couple things. One was, I did want to point out that we do have another platform aside from our WhatsApp groups, which I know we're using pretty actively. We do have something that has been built by Patrick, who is on here, who does a lot of our kind of behind the scenes and operational stuff as well. He has built this entire Discord, which is kind of another communication platform. I don't want to necessarily that it's similar to WhatsApp, but it's like taking a talk group like WhatsApp and really just organizing it very well. And we're going to have videos on there, Q&A areas, you name it. It's going to be at your fingertips, which is great. And what's really great about there, because I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people there, is that we basically have it where you can go into a chat room and I can speak in Spanish. Let's say if Spanish is my native language, and I can have a communication with someone who doesn't speak Spanish but speaks English. So I could literally be typing in Spanish and it pops out on the other side in English to him. And then when he types English, it pops back to me in Spanish. So it's a great way, especially if we have a lot of Spanish drivers, to actually communicate with leaders, or even such as myself. I could have a complete conversation with you, even though you're fully typing in Spanish. It translates right back to me in English. It's just a great little tool. So we're going to definitely be kind of launching that as well, and that's just another tool that you guys can use down there in San Diego, I think, which is very valuable. Yeah, aside from that, I mean, I'm pretty much done. I didn't really want this call to go crazy too long. I do want to hear from a few of our other people. Let's before we get into the Q&A part. And by the way, the Q&A part will be in the chat part of this Zoom call. So if you have a question, just type it in, and then we're going to read them off and go through those answers. But Malik is our president up in San Francisco. If you just want to say a few words to the San Diego group here, that would be great. You have to take yourself off mute.
Oh yes, I have been praising this team. I love everything they have done. Excuse my voice right now, it's kind of rough because I'm fasting. It's Ramadan, first of all. Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing? You guys been amazing. It's unbelievable what you guys is doing. And I hope, you guys keep this momentum and make sure everybody take advantage of the referral code and everybody get to know who we are. If we can get to that level and everybody understands that we are there to help them, to go there, to do things for them, for cheaper price, for faster, time. Imagine just like in the future, we will take over the food industry. You know how? You won't see no DoorDash, you will not see no Grubhub, you will not see anything. And I've been talking to a lot of big people just inside the industry, been talking about it, because the features that we're gonna have, we haven't launched, the food service. Why? Everybody gonna have the food service, right? Everybody gonna have all of the stuff, right? Every driver will be able to deliver food. So if you order food, the restaurant is saving 5%. The drivers, the customer's gonna save 20%. And then guess what? They're gonna get it in 10 minutes. And you're making money, everybody's making money, and everybody will be happy. This company is guaranteed to save our life, to be honest with you, because think about it, make it 12,000, 15,000 now, and all of a sudden they just replace you with a robot taxi. If you don't pay into your membership and shares and work on that, because you guys have already reached a greatness, like from the beginning. I love it. Lee, I love everything you translated. The way you translate it, the way it came from your heart is amazing. Everything you guys doing is amazing. Louis, I really appreciate you because you've been the leader too. I appreciate everyone in here. You guys don't understand how much different you guys makes for us, because it's not just what you guys did. It's just like the example of everything you guys have done. There's no issues. You guys are being a great team. Everything is being great. I love it. I respect everything you guys is doing. Just push for the food service. Let people know to use the referral code, because just imagine if somebody go to Denny's and be like, "Hey, Denny's, I got a new faster service for you and cheaper for you, and here's a referral code. Use my referral code." And all of a sudden you get lucky, right? They use your referral code. Do you understand how much money you'll be making for the rest of your life? That's like winning the lottery.
Hey, don't give away my ideas. I was going to go to Denny's. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, I already took it. If you guys heard me, you guys witness. I'm recording this. If he
Hey,
tries to take Denny's,
whoever gets it first,
go ahead. Yeah,
guys.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So there's opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities besides what we're doing right now. This is what you guys have to understand. So just imagine there's people will have like Safeway, Denny's. If you guys focus on the refer and get these people, so you can get the master, of course, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but very soon we're gonna have a master refer code. When you reach like a certain thousand of people, you'll be able to sign up those big companies.